Good Tuesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Tuesday, and hopefully, everyone enjoyed looking at me get the other forecasts loaded up. I am your meteorologist Peterson. Let's go and talk about the weather for your Tuesday evening going into your future. We do have a couple of things that we are going to talk about tonight. Obviously, we have Hurricane Aaron that is passing to our east in the Atlantic. It's around like a good 300 ish miles, 300 to 500 miles offshore ish. We also will be talking about our flash flood risk that will continue, and then also our just continued rainfall activity. Other than that's pretty much all that we're going to talk about for tonight. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, make sure you go and do so. Also hit the share button. Share it with all the people that you know, because we are trying to get to 600 subscribers. We're at 576. We're at 576. We are 24 away from that main goal of 600 subscribers. So without further ado, let's go on and get started. Starting off with our current radar right now, we do have rainfall going on over here from just like the north and east of Darlington, going down into the low country of South Carolina. It goes from the western Dorchester County region down into the South Carolina-Georgia border and even inside of Georgia. As we scroll our way out and see what's going on throughout the entire U.S., we have rainfall going on from Florida to Georgia to Alabama, and rain that stretches all the way from New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, all the way through Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas, Indiana, Ohio, Arkansas, New York, all the way up into Maine. We have rainfall going on all throughout those regions. We also do have some rainfall going on over here for our up here, like in the northwestern portion, our northwestern region of the U.S., for Idaho, going into Montana, going into Nevada, and Utah. Now for our cloud cover. Cloud cover, for the most part, is looking relatively clear right now. It's looking relatively light. Not really seeing too much cloud cover. Yes, you do have some cloud cover present that goes in from the low country. Also goes into the northern PD region, just to the north of Florence as well. And if you continue to go on and look at our cloud cover for the future, you can see that we do in fact have some cloud cover that will continue to kind of like push its way, but I mean, it's not too widespread. Even as you move into tomorrow, and you can even see over there on the side of your screen that you can easily see where Aaron is, and it's not bringing us too much cloud cover at all, but it will. We will definitely be completely covered with clouds as we get into tomorrow afternoon/evening. So that cloud cover from Aaron is on the way, and it will be here tomorrow. For our current temperature, 78 in Columbia, as well as 78 in Orangeburg, 78 in Summerville, and even 78 in Georgetown, 79 in Murrells Inlet, as well as 79 in Myrtle Beach, 77 in Conway, 78 inside of Summerville, and 80 in Charleston, 79 in Aiken. And if you move up here to the north and west, or the far upstate, 78 in Clemson, not Greenville, 76 in Greenville, 77 in Spartanburg, and even 78 in Gaffney, 77 in York, Rock Hill, Lawrence is included, and even 78 in Newberry. For your low temperatures for tonight, 71 in Anderson and Greenville, as well as 70 inside of Spartanburg, 70 also inside of Newberry, and even 73 in Columbia, 73 in Orangeburg, and even 72 in Barnwell and Walterboro, 73 in Moncks Corner, and 76 in Charleston. Even Hilton Howland also has around 76. 73 also inside of Georgetown, and even 75 inside of Myrtle Beach. For your rainfall, a good amount of rainfall is possible. A good amount of rainfall is possible. If you look, you have like 100th of an inch to a 10th of an inch that goes from Winsboro to Dillon to Sumter to Myrtle Beach. Also down maybe near Georgetown. Orangeburg has that risk, as well as Aiken. And then some other regions that may not be highlighted, but a 10th of an inch to a quarter of an inch is possible for Barnwell. And parts of the upstate also has some of that risk for maybe even up to an inch to an inch and a half of rainfall is possible. For our crazy score, we are at a 20 inside the mild category, relatively on the mild side. honestly, I don't really think we're going to have too much again in terms of that cloud cover activity. But the reason why it put us inside of the mild category was because we will still have some isolated shower activity that's going on, especially inside the low country. We also do have patchy fog potential as we move through. Light winds, moist air promotes that patchy fog activity, especially in the Midlands and along the I-95 corridor, where visibility is possibly dropping to around 1 to 5 miles. And then, other than that, that's pretty much all. For the SPC outlook for tonight, we do have a thunderstorm risk. It does go for the entire low country of South Carolina, at least for most of it. And then if you look over there inside of, for example, inside of Georgetown and Horry County, we have some rainfall and some thunderstorm activity that's possible as we move through tonight throughout these regions. As the ingredients are there, will the convection occur? That's the main question. Now for tomorrow, we also do have a thunderstorm risk as we move into Wednesday as well. Greenville, Spartanburg all have that thunderstorm risk. Again, goes from the upstate, also goes into the coastal regions from Hilton Head Island through to Charleston, up into the Somerville, Lincolnville, Latson region, over into Myrtle Beach and Conway. We have thunderstorms that are possible there for tomorrow. And if you go into Thursday, the entire state has a chance for a thunderstorm as we move into Thursday. Now, if we move into excessive rainfall, we do in fact have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall that continues, and make sure that we get the most up-to-date information as we go in and refresh. This marginal risk is still here. We also do have a little slight risk, but it's up here for places like Salem, Walhalla, Long Creek, Westminster, South Carolina. That is for some scattered flash flooding, as there was, I believe, a mesoscale discussion that was there talking about that potential for some flash flooding, but to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of rainfall that really occurred up there. Not a whole lot at all. But if we go on and look at our, just look at the entire state, from Greenville down into Augusta to Orangeburg to the inland low country to Myrtle, inland, just inland of Myrtle Beach going into Florence, minor flooding or isolated flash flooding was possible. And if you go into tomorrow, kind of move its way up into the upstate. That is for, again, some isolated flash flooding as you go into Landrum all the way down through Inman, through Greenville, through Seneca, through Walhalla, through Long Creek, through Salem, South Carolina. Day 3, this takes up a lot more of this marginal risk area, just more of the state. In general, the entire upstate's included, all of the Midlands is included, the Western PD is included, and the West and Northwestern Low Country is included. The only region that's not included is over here from Florence over towards like the Myrtle Beach coastal regions down into the, at least for the majority of the Tri-County region for day 3. Again, this is Thursday right here, and everyone inside the green has a chance for some isolated flash flooding. Now, day 4, take another big impact. I'm not going to go too much in depth with this one, but pretty much same thing for Friday, but it takes up a lot more of the state. Day 5, same thing, takes up a little bit less, but still a good amount of the state for Saturday. So let's go and look at the models now. So we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. As we push this forward, you can see that rainfall activity will really start to fade out by the time we get into like 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m. And this was expected. We talked about this last night. We said that tomorrow morning right here, could potentially start off dry, and it's looking like that it will start off dry. If we go in and look at the 18Z and continue pushing this forward, you can see rainfall does in fact come later throughout the day, though, like 4 or 5 p.m. Shower activity starts to move into like the kind of like the coastal, like the Grand Strand region, moving into the upstate as well. And some convection moves through as around 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. And then by that time, you're really starting to see things dry out again. And there goes Aaron right there on the eastern or the right side of your screen. And then it moves on out of here. And look at how dry we are as we continue through all the way through Thursday. And if you remember, We were talking about that ridge out there in the west, and then Aaron combined. That's going to bring us these drier conditions that we're seeing here. Now, again, this is only the morning / early afternoon, so things will change as we get more into the evening. But we'll look more at this tomorrow evening. Starting off here, let's go on and talk about our long-term future for like the next like 300 to 400 hours or so. As we go on and push this forward, active conditions come back. Obviously, that was expected as we move into around August the 22nd, the 23rd, going into the 24th as well. And we'll have that cold front that will move through as we move into this weekend. And speaking of cold front, if we go on and look at the Climate Prediction Center outlook, this is for the next 6 to 10 days right here. You can actually see on your screen. For the next 6 to 10 days, we have below average temperatures that is possible right now for the state. Again, that is, you can see like the probability chance down there in the bottom right side of the screen. For most of us, from the 33% chance all the way up to around like the 60% chance of receiving some below average temperatures as we move through the next 6 to 10 days. But areas that definitely will up here in the Midwest, where they will definitely receive some below average temperatures as you move through the next 6 to 10 days. This is for August the 25th through the 29th. And if you go through, I don't know why in the world that closed, but if you go through the next 8 to 14 days, you can see that we do in fact have, again, below average temperatures that go in from the Midwest down into South Carolina. Now, does this mean we're going to have those temperatures obviously down into the 50s, 60s, for example? Obviously not. It's still summer. Summer's not done. But we definitely still have some more getting down to get used to. As, we'll probably only be maybe in like the 70s and 80s. Like 80s for high temperatures, 70s, maybe 60s for low temperatures. But for the most part, it's looking like that we will be below average as we get through the end of the month going into next month. Let's go on now and talk about the rest of our future. So we're going to start off here back where we just left off at on August the 24th. As we push this forward, you can see that rainfall activity really starts to die down a little bit, and we're not really seeing too much activity. There might be a full day, maybe the end of this month, where we might not see any rainfall. Now, this is just a low resolution model, so it obviously doesn't show everything the best, but it looks like that we really are going to get drier as we get towards the end of this month. And same thing as we get into September as well. Yes, we will have some rainfall and some, this potentially might be a little storm system that might try to move in around September the 3rd. But as we get into around September the 4th, this is where it ends at. But really, we shouldn't really go that far. We should have stopped probably around like September the 1st because that's 300 hours. But a potential early storm system to start off inside of September is possible. But that's it for the long-term future. Nothing else really I want to say there. So let's go on and talk about the tropics. So, in terms of the tropics, we have a couple of updates, I think. But first, obviously, we got to start off with Aaron. Aaron is expected to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents along the beaches of the Bahamas, much of the east coast of the United States, Bermuda, and Atlantic Canada during the next several days. Beachgoers in those areas should follow advice from lifeguards, local authorities, and beach warning flags. Also, storm surge flooding and tropical storm conditions are expected in the North Carolina Outer Banks beginning late Wednesday or Wednesday night, where tropical storm and storm surge warnings are in effect. The storm surge will be accompanied by large waves, leading to significant beach erosion and overwash, making some roads impassable. Tropical storm conditions are also possible in Bermuda on Thursday and Friday, where tropical storm watch is now in effect. And interest along the U.S. mid-Atlantic and the southern New England coast should also monitor the progress of Aaron as strong winds are possible Thursday and Friday. So it seems like he wants to strike everything just to the north of us. So it starts in North Carolina, moves its way through Virginia, through to, Delaware, up into Maryland, and then up into even southern New England, where strong winds are possible over there. Will it be tropical storm force? We're going to have to wait a little bit, especially as we continue for like the mid-Atlantic and the New England coast. But for sure, for like North Carolina, there definitely will be some tropical storm force winds as you move through the Outer Banks region. But this is what Aaron looks like right now. Let me go and show you that. This is what Aaron looks like right now. Still seems to be doing well. Still seems to be doing organized 105 miles per hour. It is indeed 105 miles per hour storm right now. And it's moving, seems to be moving north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. So it's moving very slow. Moving very slow. I mean, there's no point really for me to talk about forecast models. I mean, this has no threat to hit South Carolina really, but here's the cone right here, I guess. The cone, which just shows that it's going to stay a hurricane and it will finally downgrade back into a tropical storm on Sunday. What time on Sunday? You know, that's still a bit too far out for now, but it seems to be on Sunday we'll start to get back to that tropical storm force, over there. But it will stay a hurricane, and it's not expected to go back to Category 3. It is expected to stay a Category 2 hurricane as we continue through, and it's not supposed to get any stronger than that. But it did give us our first Category 5 of the year. And so one other thing that I do want to talk about before we go on and move on off of Aaron is just that you also have that risk for, if I'm going to find it, the storm surge as well. Not only, I know obviously when you think of storm surge, you think of, flooding getting all throughout, going all throughout the coastal cities, anything like that. This is just going to be 1 to 3 feet if I can go on and find it. Well, it pretty much goes from the South Sandy River all the way over. Here it is right here. It goes all the way from the South Sandy River up into the South Carolina, North Carolina border to where 1 to 3 feet of storm surge is possible as you move through, going through like tomorrow and Thursday, for example, as it goes on and as Aaron goes on, it moves its way north. So 1 to 3 feet of storm surge is possible from the South Sandy River all the way up. That goes up towards like Myrtle Beach, that goes up towards North Myrtle Beach and all the way up into the South Carolina, North Carolina line, and it goes all the way into North Carolina as well. Rip currents wise, though, we do in fact have a rip current, just a rip current statements that are out. That is that there is a high risk for rip currents, and that goes again for the entire coastline. And if you go into tomorrow, exact same thing, high risk of rip currents tomorrow. And so that's why they say make sure that you're paying attention to those beach flag warnings and then to local officials. But that's it for Aaron that I wanted to talk about. I mean, there's nothing else really for South Carolina that we really need to go over. But look at this one over here. If you remember what this looked like just yesterday, this had a completely different look. It looked like that it was like going to take almost the same track that Aaron did. But look at this formation zone. A tropical wave located over the central tropical Atlantic continues to produce a broad area of disorganized shower and thunderstorm activity. Environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of this system, and a tropical depression could form late this week or over the weekend while it moves near or to the north of the northern Leeward Islands. So there is a 10% chance of this thing forming over the next 48 hours and a 60% chance over the next 7 days. Now, this has a completely different track too. We can go on and look at the European ensembles for it. But if we go on, I'm going to go and click Get Loop, and you can see right now on your screen how this thing just completely, here it is down here. You still see that it is still a lot spread out, and so that's why we still need to continue to watch this just because. But a lot more of them are taking that kind of region out, and you have a couple stragglers that go over here, but it's not much at all. And so it seems like that this one took a lot more. I mean, it might just be for today. Things might have changed, but for the most part, most models, I don't think there's a single model right now that's showing it going towards South Carolina like it was maybe yesterday or the day before, like how we were talking about. So a huge shift with this one. I don't know. Again, we're still far out. Things can still change. But for now, it's looking like that this one kind of took a more of a shift to the north, and we'll continue to monitor that. Now for next, we do have the third area that's not, that is including Aaron as well. You have this third one over here, Disturbance 2, This is an invest. This is an invest. It says a tropical wave just located just to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands continues to produce shower and thunderstorm activity while it moves west at about 15 miles per hour. A short-lived tropical depression could form during the next day or two before environmental conditions become unfavorable for further development late this week. So, if this thing doesn't turn into a tropical depression like now, and which I mean, even if it does, it's not going to do anything, but it won't get a chance to form if it does not turn into a tropical depression very, very soon. So again, this has a 30% chance of forming, and it's possible that this could turn into a tropical depression tomorrow or even on Thursday. That's all I have to say for the tropics, though. There's nothing else really for me to say. So let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off with, let me see real quick. Starting off with my Nana, the first one inside the chat says, hello, Jay, hello to you. Mr. Chris says, good evening, everyone. Hope y'all had a great day. I did. Hopefully you did as well. He also says, please remember to go and hit the like button and subscribe button and share. Helps the channel, and it gets info to those who do need it. And that is true. That is true. And let's go in and check out the numbers real quick. We've had 22 people watch tonight, and we only have 6 likes. I have no idea what's going on there, but so far, a good 16 people just decided to show up and just not hit the like button. So if you're part of that 16 people, go and hit the like button. It's free, and you can change your mind at any time. My Aunt Lula then says, good evening, everyone. I had a nice day today. That is fantastic to hear. Good evening to you. Mr. Anthony then says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. Trail also says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to you. And then Mr. Chris says, when you said it's 300 miles offshore, is that to the eye or the outer band? That is the eye, not the outer band. That is the eye that I'm talking about. Thad then says, getting just if I trust all as well. We had a ton of thunder and lightning, however, no rain. Did you see the pictures? I have not, but I just pulled up my email to pull up for later, and I was gonna check after I was done with the audience. But I will show it. I will show it. Terrell says, I refused to go outside today. I opened the door and closed it right back. Well, luckily for you, you don't. Obviously, I know that you're not a huge fan of the heat, so that's lucky for you that you didn't have to go outside. When is the cool down coming? And he said I might check the mail tomorrow. You didn't even go outside and check the mail. That's, I guess I can't question it. I can't question it. But the cool down, it probably will be, like I said, probably around like the end of the week, going into early next week, at the kind of like during like that time frame. I'm looking at my calendar down here, but around going into like the end of this week, going into early next week is when that cooldown will start to show up. But that's it for the audience. I don't see anything else. If you still want to leave something inside the chat, you can. It's free for about like another 5 minutes or so. I mean, it's always free, but I will read it if you put your thing inside the chat. Starting off, let's go ahead and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina, that being San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Duncan, Oklahoma. Starting off with San Antonio first, like we always do. Low temperatures tonight at 77, high temperatures tomorrow at 100, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 78. There is a slight chance of thunderstorms tonight and a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow as well. There also is a chance of showers tomorrow night. So rainfall chances are here as you move through tonight and as you move through tomorrow and tomorrow night. So the rain chances are here. Will you get the rainfall? That's a good question. With severe weather, though, you do not have a chance of any sort of severe weather. But obviously thunderstorms are possible through them. In terms of excessive rainfall, you actually are under a minor risk of flooding for tonight and tomorrow and Thursday. But that's it. So tonight, tomorrow, and Thursday, you do have a chance for some minor flooding or some isolated flash flooding. Now for Raleigh, North Carolina, with low temperatures tonight 71, high temperatures tomorrow at 88, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow, And then in terms of excessive rainfall first, no excessive rainfall is expected. And if you move into severe weather, no severe weather here either. Now for Philadelphia, with low temperatures tonight 67, high temperatures tomorrow at 78, and low temperatures tomorrow night at 67. A slight chance of showers tonight, and then also a chance of storms tomorrow during the day, and then a chance of showers tomorrow night. No severe weather is expected, and then in terms of excessive rainfall, you have a chance for some minor flooding tomorrow on Wednesday, but that's it. And then for the final location, that being Duncan, Oklahoma, with low temperatures tonight at 73, high temperatures tomorrow at 95, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 72. A chance of thunderstorms tonight, and then a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. No precipitation tomorrow night, though. You do have a chance for some minor flooding tonight and tomorrow, though, which is interesting. But some isolated flash flooding is possible, as some potential thunderstorms will move through. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S. in terms of weather news-wise? Storm surge, flooding, and tropical storm conditions are expected in the Outer Banks beginning late on Wednesday. Tropical storm and storm surge warnings are also in effect. Tropical storm conditions are possible along the eastern shore of Virginia on Thursday. Hurricane Erin will continue to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents along much of the east coast of the U.S. this week. We also will see an increase in heat going into Oklahoma and Texas from all the way from like Texarkana all the way down to Dallas, Fort Worth, also inside of Louisiana, down close to, if not at New Orleans, and then also inside of Mississippi. We also will see an increase in heat also in Montana and North Dakota, and then excessive heat warnings are out, as we will see a lot of excessive heat from Las Vegas down into Southern California, and even into Northern California. We will see a heat increase over there, even into Arizona. There will be a heat increase in there as we continue through. So that's pretty much all that I really have to say for tonight. Let me go ahead and check out the chat one more time. Don't see anything else. Let's go and look at Thad's pictures real quick that he sent. This, I guess, was a picture of a storm that he decided to send to us tonight. Let me see if I can go in and get his email out of it. But this is the one picture that I got right here of a storm that's either rolling in or leaving, or just passing by, maybe, or maybe even just some heavy cloud cover that might just be moving through. He sent this at around 5:41, and this is another view right here, definitely a lighter picture, but you can kind of see kind of like the light going on over there and sun going on over here inside the on the left side, and you have the storm clouds over here. And then he also sent another one. Let me see this one right here. He sent another two at around like 3 minutes later. Here's one that he had right here. Again, another picture of the clouds that he got. And then the second one showing just some more clouds. You have some clear spots kind of opening up, but for the most part, it's remaining cloudy there. So thank you so much for those pictures. If you want to send in any pictures, you can. You have to send them to scweather360@gmail.com. Again, that is scweather360@gmail.com. And that's all that I have to say for that, too. Let's go and talk about the top fans. At number 1, we had Trail. At number 2, we had Mr. Chris. And at number 3, we had Mr. Anthony. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. If you want to be a part of the top fans, you can. You just have to be active inside the chat and then be early. And that's all that I have. So I will be back tomorrow morning with your Wednesday morning forecast update. We're almost halfway done. We just got to get through tomorrow, and we will be halfway done with the work week.